Good morning mga katribu! Welcome to another episode of Daily Tribune Straight Talk, where we discuss important matters to each and every one of us. This is Gigie, Arcilla.
So, good morning mga katribu. I'm Chito, Lozada. We are live on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune now on YouTube.
Yes, Chito, good morning and
morning.
welcome to our guests.
Gigi.
Before I introduce them, and in this morning's episode, we are joined by GoTyme's, rings a bell, GoTyme.
GoTyme.
The president and CEO, Nate Clarke, and the co-CEO, Albert Tinio of GoTyme.
Hello,
By the way,
guys.
Chito, GoTyme is another digital banking option. All right. So welcome to Straight Talk, Nate
you.
and
Thank you.
Albert.
Morning.
And
Thanks
thank you
for having us.
yes, and thank you for granting our invitation. Thank you.
The exact mode is digital, isn't it?
What?
Digital.
Digital and digital.
Okay, so it's supposed to be, sorry, I stand corrected. So it's digital banking.
Banking.
All right. So, Nate and
the-
Albert. Okay, so GoTyme has been very visible, especially in Robinson's establishments. So I know some friends who have GoTyme. So what is GoTyme?
What is GoTyme?
Mm.
So, well, maybe I'll start with why we started GoTyme
all right.
in time. So, GoTyme's mission is to, what we say, unlock the financial potential of everyone. And what we mean by that is maximizing their financial prosperity. And the reason why we have this ambitious mission is because I think to date, around the world, the banks have not unlocked as much potential as they could. Maybe they've unlocked potential in certain segments, maybe the preferred banking segment, but not everywhere. So we intend to solve this, right, and give everyone what we call a beautiful banking experience. So what do we mean by that? It means when you use us, whether it's signing up for the account for the first time, getting your debit card, seeing how much interest rate we're giving you on savings, how affordable the fees are, or how easy it is to use, we actually want our customers to smile. And I think in the Philippines, like many markets, banking and smiling don't generally go together hand in hand. Maybe more plainly put, we want to become we plan to become the largest bank in Southeast Asia and in the Philippines.
So that's the largest digital bank.
No, largest bank.
All right.
I think period. Yeah, I think sometimes this digital thing is a bit confusing. But then maybe going back to your question on why the GoTyme name. So Time Bank, we started that business in South Africa over 5 years ago. We're quite large there. We're the largest digital bank in Africa, over 8.5 million customers. And then in the Philippines, we did a joint venture with the Gokongwei family. So that's how it went from Time Bank to GoTyme Bank.
All
here.
right. So it's originally it's just Time
Just
Bank.
Time Bank. But because of our early success here and our excitement about the region, so even though our origin story is South Africa, we very much see our growth coming in Southeast Asia. So for example, we're planning on going to Vietnam later this year.
Vietnam.
And actually we're going to be taking the GoTyme brand everywhere.
How
So
soon?
it's GoTyme.
Okay.
How soon are you entering Vietnam?
We will be entering in a pilot in the second half of this year in Vietnam, probably a fuller banking proposition similar to here, only in 2025. So
see.
we have lots of work to focus on here.
So when exactly did GoTyme started in the Philippines?
October of 2022.
Yeah.
We've roughly been in commercial operations over a year now, but we conceptualized, got our license a year before that. So the BSP granted us the digital banking license, gave us a year to set up the system, put all the processes in place, make sure it's safe, make sure everything's certified, and then we launched commercially October of 2022.
So perhaps we could ask them when they started in October 2022, how has been the growth? I mean, in terms of, accounts,
Deposits.
depositors.
Okay. We actually we're very very happy with the growth. A little over before that year lapsed, no, we hit 1 million users. Very soon after, before before Christmas, we hit was it 2 million?
2 million.
2 million
2 million.
users. As we stand today, we're now at about 2.7 million users.
Okay, so that's in less than 2 years.
Yes, in
16
less than
months.
2 years.
Six-
Yeah.
Almost 17
Point
years.
seven.
Almost
I've
17
heard this the fastest growth region, or where the country where you have the fastest growth rate.
Yes.
In the
yes.
In
Philippines.
the Philippines.
Yeah, we're growing at almost double the pace we did in a like-for-like time in South Africa.
Do you have a demographics of this 2.7 million? I mean, the chunk perhaps are young millennials or employed or just a very brief demographics.
Yeah, so it's quite. I think you'll probably be surprised in that it's quite across all ages and geographies, and that is a little bit driven by our distribution model. And this we talked about the physical and the digital. But the headlines are we have the biggest segment, to no surprise, is 25 to 34 year olds. So that kind of represents
25.
How many percent?
I think maybe 45%,
Yeah,
something like
that.
that. But it actually largely mimics the population curve of the Philippines, a little bit less in the elder, but we have 250,000 customers over the age of 50, for example. And actually also income levels, all income levels. As we were joking before we came on the show, that Taylor Swift led to a
Yeah, I was supposed to ask you that, but now
Mentioned it.
It's
Taylor Swift led to a 350% increase in overseas
transactions.
card transactions in the last week.
Yeah.
And that's because in Singapore. So you can imagine a lot of
so
millennials,
that's
Yeah.
350%.
yeah, up month on month.
Okay.
Driven
Okay,
almost all because of
Can
Singapore
we-
and Taylor Swift.
Can we quantify that?
Number of, so for example,
The Taylor
our
Swift
overseas
effect.
swipes are still relatively small to our total swipes in the Philippines, right? But they were doing about 500 a day, I think, in Singapore on last month, and now we're doing 5,000 a day during Taylor Swift week. So that kind of probably speaks to, okay, who's going to see Taylor Swift? It's the young,
Yeah.
young millennials predominantly, and call it emerging affluent class, right? Because you have to be able to afford to go there. That's on one end. So we're kind of attracting people those people are likely banked before, right? So most of our customers actually have been switching from a traditional bank account and using GoTyme because of its better pricing, more
Simplified
nicer,
banking.
simplified experience, more
Okay.
beautiful app, etc. But then there's other segments who are probably mostly signing up in the rural areas. 'Cause
Yeah.
we have about 500 kiosks, which we can talk about later, that distribute this debit card, allow you to sign up, and they're in the Robinson supermarkets and Shopwise, Marketplace, and they're all over the country. And some of those cities and towns are more rural, and people are less banked. So you have, I guess, very far extremes of who our customers are. It's everyone.
So I guess next time you have to research where is the next concert
The-
of Taylor Swift
Yeah.
will be. And then in advance and
That's a good idea. We'll take note.
All right.
We're very supportive of the Taylor Swift visit. Next time she must come here.
I'm wondering if you will conduct a study on the Taylor Swift effect, on how you can take advantage of it.
Yeah, perhaps they have to form a research team and then
But
follow the trail.
one of the things these young millennials and the early adopters of it like about GoTyme in relation to Taylor
Yeah,
Swift in
yeah.
Singapore, is
What's the
we have a
edge?
good. People are now calling it a travel card. So they've seen that whenever they travel abroad, number one, they can use it whether it's in an ATM or a restaurant or even
A debit card.
what's this train. No? You tap on the
Ay,
turnstile and pay direct. No?
In like the Hong Kong MTR or
Yes,
in London.
Singapore. So then they find that we've got very good exchange rates. So amongst themselves, amongst the community, they do exchange notes, and then they say, "Oh, gamitin natin to." That's why we were so interested in the effect when Taylor Swift signed up in that concert. Because we knew our GoTyme users were going to be there.
So they are among the 2.7 million.
Yes. The
Okay.
Swifties.
The Swift
But it's a whole range, no. Nate was saying it's not just the millennials. There were those who are previously unbanked, no. So you'll be surprised. We have a good population of riders, no? Delivery, yung mga food delivery, ride hailing. They use GoTyme. We have a cross section of, to Nate's point, also. Older or more senior, no? Who connect their accounts to their children, etc.
I'm just curious. You said a while ago, Albert, that it's being considered as a travel card. All right. So why is it? I mean, what sets GoTyme apart from all the other providers of digital
No, it's the edge of
digital bank
GoTyme.
cards that made this the fans of Taylor Swift to watch her recent concert
To use your
to say that
service.
they've been suki, they have been the suki of GoTyme card when they travel.
Suki means frequent user.
Yeah.
Frequent user.
Yeah, I think we've had a slightly different strategy than the other digital banks or e-wallets in that we're very Visa and card led. We've made it through our kiosk, made it very easy and accessible to get the card. I think some of the other digital banks and e-wallets while they do have a card offering, it's not front and center a big focus of theirs. You might have to pay for the card, have to get it delivered. Whereas in our case, we've got 500 places you can go
To get
get
it
it in
for
2
free.
minutes for free, no maintaining balance. And we're very focused on giving a very good value for money on foreign exchange. As Abid said, we don't charge additional fees on ATM withdrawals when you're overseas. So we're kind of focused on, we're the best priced against the traditional banks or the other digital banks. And in general, you'll see the other digital banks, the newer ones, are more focused on credit and less focused on being your everyday bank, right? So we actually see ourselves, as I mentioned before, competing with the large traditional incumbent banks. So that's why we have transactions, savings, loyalty. So it's like a full offering. And over time,
Full
we're adding
offering.
credit, investments, insurance. So we actually want to replace or have you join for the first time into banking the traditional players
Okay.
by providing
Alright.
better service.
So I have more questions. I mean, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Perhaps I would be asking you when we come back after a short break about expanding I mean, how about are there any target market? Is there any other target market that you wish to expand the services? I mean, the benefits or services of GoTyme. So we'll give you a few seconds to think about your answers when we come back, because we're coming back after a short
We'll
break.
be like,
And this break is brought to you by Angkas, Beat the Traffic, Bayad Center, hashtag Bigger Better Younger Bayad, and you can buy it all. Globe, atin ang mundo. Meralco, ang liwanag ng bukas. SM, we've got it all for you. Smart, live more today. Union Bank, it starts with you.
Infuse yourself with the knowledge needed to hone your business skills. Business Sense, a show where we engage with entrepreneurs, startups, and MSMEs in meaningful discussions on business growth and current marketing trends. Airs every Monday, 10 a.m. only on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now on YouTube. Tune in to Daily Tribune's show aimed at addressing the needs and problems of our OFWs from different corners of the globe. Hear about their plights and success stories every Tuesday and Thursday, 3 p.m. only on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now on YouTube. Straight Talk dives deep into pressing issues of leadership, politics, business, and more. Engage in insightful conversations with industry shakers, government leaders, and trailblazers every Wednesday at 10 a.m. only here on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now in YouTube.
All right, we're still back mga katribo, and we're still with Nate Clarke and
Mr.
Albert Tinio,
Albert.
CEO, both CEO of GoTyme.
So I'd like to ask about the security features that goes into the services that you provide, particularly the card.
Yeah, given the recurring recurring news about
Scammers.
scammers falling prey to fishers.
Yes. Yes. So maybe we can. I'll come back to the card, but I think starting at a base level, right? It's a huge focus of ours. We know that the public and our customers, it's one of their top worries when we survey them, and if you look in the news, that cybersecurity, scams. So we invest an incredible amount of technology, strategy into creating safety and security. We use the latest technology. We have any change we make, we get that what they call penetration tested, including third parties who are former hackers themselves who try to break in and do that. On top of that, we are, like any other bank in the country, regulated by the BSP. So we have regular third-party cybersecurity audits. BSP was doing their annual audit just last month, and looking at this. I think the other thing just to highlight is that we're actually when it comes to securing the bank, we're actually in a very luxurious position, building new from scratch. And maybe the analogy I'll use is, let's say if you think about a house that's 100 years old and it's had 20 different additions put on it, etc. And the chances of you getting a leak is greater, and it's also harder to patch up because you have all these different systems and you're adding on and adding on. I think we're lucky. We're building fresh, all modern technology, the latest and greatest from a security perspective, and it's easier to call it, insulate, prevent leaks, and protect the perimeter, which is really what we're doing. So I think we're actually very well positioned and are quite confident on that. But you can never be complacent because I think the bad actors are constantly trying to attack.
I'll add to Nate. Security is two parts. Yes, latest and the greatest features. But more, I think, on side by side with that, GoTyme has also been very active about education and awareness. We've partnered with the CICC, with ScamWatch, and we've enabled our so we've taught our users, and helped them identify, these are current phishing schemes. These are current scam schemes. If you do fall prey to this, please report immediately to CIC. Yes, to CICC. So we've partnered with government to make sure that people are aware that GoTyme does not stand for any of it. Number one. Number two, we're giving them an avenue, to make the government aware that they've fallen victim, and then these are the circumstances behind it. So without that kind of awareness, it's easier for scammers to do what they're doing. But if at the back of the mind of our users, I'm going to be suspicious, I'm always going to be on alert, I'm always going to question, then scammers will have second thoughts about duping
But
people.
then, I mean, I heard it from, other people that, scammers are not just, from external.
Mm.
Okay, that we just call a depositor and then ask for, an OTP or whatever. But then some say that, scammers could also be internal. All right, so they are the ones in control, or they know how. I mean, from the database. All right. How has GoTyme, prepared for this? I mean, preventive measures that there wouldn't be any dubious person joining the organization
Yeah.
that would compromise, of course, the security or the money of depositors.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we've kind of several lines of defense in that. So, we do rigorous background checks before employees join. However, that's not enough. Also, within our fraud team, we have a dedicated function around internal fraud. And then, so for example, if you're in everything like let's say our customer success advocates or our personal bankers are answering the phone, when they're accessing customer data, everything is logged and audited. So if there's anything ever that happens, we can go back and say, okay, and look at patterns. And then, so I guess we have a few layers. We have the screening, we have the systems that monitor and flag kind of unusual behavior. And then we have the audit trails, et cetera. So if there's an incident, we can actually go back and look at that. But it is to your point, many of the frauds that are not driven by phishing sometimes have been linked to internal fraud. But to build on what Abba was saying, by far, if you look at the industry, most of the scamming is actually phishing.
Yes.
So it's not, I mean, I would say as a customer, I would focus on worrying about, from yourself and your friends and family, educating them on scams and probably worry quite a bit less around cybersecurity risk, et cetera, because I think all of the banks are doing a good job on that.
In fact, it's the industry is very much aware. So the industry is cooperating amongst the 6 digital banks themselves. No? There are 6 of us who received the license. We formed an organization. It's called the Digital Banks Association of the Philippines, and one of the thrusts that we do that we're focusing on is really this. We share information, or to have the capability moving forward to share this kind of negative information, so that bad actors who may have started in one bank and then are planning to move through the 6 banks, bago pa siya makarating dun sa alam na namin, di ba? So I think that's the kind of, we can't go at this alone. We're working with government and we're working with the industry.
So I want to know if the attacks on
Has there been attempts?
has been, yeah.
Has there been
Has there
attempts?
been
I mean, during the past 16 months.
I would say nothing beyond business as usual for a bank. So yeah, no, we haven't had any issues.
Perhaps Chito, we ask our guest about expanding the market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You talked about Vietnam. What other areas are you looking into, or
I
countries?
mean, locally muna.
Yeah, locally. So I mean, I'll answer internationally. Vietnam next, and Indonesia would be the logical one after. So
Yes.
very Southeast Asia,
Yeah.
the big
So
3
that's the next,
Southeast
ano,
Asian
Yeah.
markets. But I think more importantly,
that's the next battlefield, I guess.
yeah,
Which one? Vietnam.
ASEAN.
yeah,
Yeah, I see.
no, but we see incredible potential in the region. But I think more importantly in the Philippines. So maybe I'll talk domestically, and Abba can talk about
International.
overseas Filipinos
Yeah,
maybe
where
as well.
OFWs are.
FWs.
Yeah, so I think domestically we're at, as I mentioned, 2.7 million customers. We project to be easily over 5 by the end of the year, and then 10 in under 3 years from now. So we kind of intend to quadruple our customer base in the next 3 years, and that will come from a majority of a combination of digital acquired customers. So 40% of our customers simply sign up on the app. They don't do a visit to the store other than to maybe pick up their card. So called like a pure digital onboarding.
The physical store are just the kiosk, right?
The kiosk and free cash in, cash out.
At the Robinsons cashiers.
Okay.
And really what we're,
So there's
Yeah.
no physical bank
No,
where
no
there's
branch.
a teller,
No.
you know, customer service.
by virtue of the license, we can't have a branch.
all
can have a
right, all right.
but what you can think of it as, you can get many services that are similar.
Yes.
Meaning you can sign up for an account, you can get a card, you can ask questions, and you can do cash in, cash out. So I think the cashiers become the tellers. So it's kind of, I guess, similar to replicating the service, but without a branch.
And you do have ATMs, right?
Yes, and
So-
we just launched
launched-
so,
we just launched.
so customers can use this in any ATM.
Yes.
any ATM,
Yes.
e-commerce, overseas, just like any Visa card in the world. So anywhere Visa is accepted.
So
you can use
it's Visa branded or Visa linked. It's also, if you look at the back, BankNet. So you can go to any BankNet ATM for that matter, and then withdraw if that's the way you choose to do so.
Yes.
Okay. So, balikan natin, Chito, yung expansion locally.
Yeah.
Dito muna, before we go outside.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, may mga tanong. Actually, I just read the text na. Pwede din ba? I mean, is GoTyme also the card? Can they also pay their bills,
Yes.
electricity bills, utilities,
Yes.
telecoms, or
All of that.
tuition?
Yes. So it kind of has the best of an e-wallet and the best of a bank,
Yeah.
right? So you can do all the banking that you can do on any of the traditional banks. I'm not going to start naming names here. So you can save,
Yeah.
you can transact, you can send money on InstaPay, PesoNet, as you know.
How
we're-
about paying tuition through the
Yes.
app?
Yeah, bill payments.
Yeah. So
you
for
can
instance,
top up your tolls. You can,
Two ways. Yeah, I think toll is a very good example. So RFID. Yeah. So two ways to do it. One, you can go
Transfer.
directly into the GoTyme app, and then top up your toll account from there. Just move money from your GoTyme account and pay it from there. Another way is you can go to the toll service provider's own app. So whether that's auto sweep, and then open your account from there, and then say, oh, I want to pay using my Visa card, and it's real time.
Okay.
How about borrowings? Loans?
Loans.
loans.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can talk about loans. The last thing I was mentioning about the card, which we haven't mentioned yet, is
Yes.
that the card in the app, when you sign up, it also opens up a Go Rewards loyalty
Yes.
account if you don't have one.
Mm-hmm.
If you have one, we merge it. So let's say you shop at Robinsons already, or you fly with Cebu Pacific.
Yeah, it's
So-
you get 3 times.
Yes.
And then when you
Yeah,
use the
rewards
GoTyme
points.
card online to buy a Cebu Pacific flight or in the store, you get a points multiplier 3 times. Or if even if you're spending outside of Robinsons or Cebu Pacific, you can actually earn a smaller amount, but you still earn. And you can then get rid of your old loyalty Go Rewards card, and you can use the debit card or the QR in our app. And you can actually convert Go Rewards in our app to cash
Yep.
for the first time.
So,
So it's also loyalty.
so all the Swifties who use their cards earn points.
Earn points.
You were there, Albert, no?
And that's actually that rewards
Because
one.
you know the terms, the jargon.
No, I have 3 daughters, so
He has
Who
3
all went there.
Gen Z daughters. That's why. But that proposition though also appeals, as we talked about, different demographics we attract to maybe the 45-year-old, 50-year-old shopper who's shopping at Robinson's Supermarket or Marketplace.
Can this be a payroll ATM as well?
Yes.
yes.
Yeah. And actually, we have a.
I mean, is it going to be done manually, like an employer they would, or is there a simpler way of doing it, like automatically on a payday the
system.
employees
shoots it out.
system just
Yeah.
is there something like that?
Yes, and that's actually a big bet of ours this year.
Yeah.
We have a large pilot. It's not a pilot anymore. With in partnership with Accenture. So they have a lot of
Accenture.
employees.
BPO.
Yeah, we actually have 6,000 Accenture employees who have selected GoTyme as their payroll account. So they get paid directly every 2 weeks or twice a month into GoTyme. And then in the next year, that's going to be a big focus to go to corporates. Maybe the Daily Tribune would like to get paid into GoTyme account.
Why not?
Good job.
Yes, why not?
How about the Gokong Wei group?
I'm
have-
sure you're aware, no? There are bills in Congress right now that are enabling choice for your payroll account. The current system that we have in the Philippines is that your employer chooses your payroll account. Congress, I think there are two versions, Congress and Senate, that are now going through the process of enabling the employee to choose his own account. Why is it now a big bet for us? One of the simplest things that GoTyme does is onboarding.
What does onboarding mean?
Onboarding means actually signing up for an account. So because it only takes 5 minutes for an employee to sign up for an account, their employer does not spend an inordinate amount of time going through that kind of rigor and pain. In fact, when Nate pointed to one of our BPO customers, that's what they do. We put a kiosk in their building. New employees of that particular BPO who want to sign up are directed by their HR to just proceed to the GoTyme kiosk, sign up in less than 5 minutes. They have their ATM card. Unlike
And then-
previous experience where it takes
They have to go to the
7 to
bank.
10 days. Yeah, you have to go to a
Get a card
bank to
delivered.
pick it up, etc.
And
in
then
fact,
come payday,
yeah.
they,
Ano na
they
yun,
would just,
that's their system because they named the account as their payroll. Then their employer sends it to that account.
So you have all the Gokong Wei group employees on board
Yes.
your account.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so they get their allowances.
Allowances and
Everything.
incentives on GoTyme.
Into GoTyme Bank. I mean, as Abid said, it's in particular in the BPO industry, it's a big challenge because they have so much turnover.
Yeah.
yes.
So imagine they're hiring thousands of people a month, and sometimes they don't even have a bank account by the time they get paid. So they have to
Yes.
give them checks,
Yeah.
and then
But-
that employee has to
Yeah.
might have the graveyard shift.
Yeah,
and then has
exactly.
to,
Exactly.
In the middle of the day, go to a bank branch for the check.
Yes,
So
yes.
Exactly.
these are the type of, to be honest, a year ago, this was not a big strategy of ours. But then we, stumbled into this pilot, and now not everyone, but a lot of businesses are asking for this because it solves a real problem.
So perhaps, Chito, we asked Nate and Albert about, expanding the market to the OFWs. Because, that's one dilemma that,
And
families
that's
of
one big
OFW,
market,
have, they still go to a Palawan or money remittance.
Traditional
center.
remittance.
Yeah, the
yeah.
traditional way of, remitting
centers.
money to their families.
That's a good point, no? Right now, we open GoTyme accounts. We started out with Pinoys, so local Sims, local residents. Where we're moving forward or outward now is to enable naman our fellow Pinoys abroad to sign up on GoTyme with their foreign SIMs. So right now, ina-identify ni GoTyme na sino yung dalawang local providers natin, dalawa o tatlo, yun muna. Moving forward, we will start accepting overseas SIMs naman. And then
So how are they going to, get their
cards.
physical
Yan.
cards?
So once they sign up, what we're also going to do, we know where the concentration of our fellow Filipinos are, diba? So for instance, Singapore, Hong Kong, even LA, San Francisco, our beautiful kiosks will be there too. So pwede silang pumunta sa closest kiosk sa kanila open up an account there, and then in very similar fashion to what they do here in the Philippines, get their card in 5 minutes or less, and then moving forward, pwede sila mag-transact across.
Meron pa akong mga tanong about the countries that, because Albert here mentioned about, in the US, in Hong Kong, or in other parts. All right. So, babalikan natin yun. We will ask a question to Albert and Nate when we come back after a short break.
And this break is brought to you by Angkas, Beat the Traffic, Bayad Center, Hashtag Bigger Better Younger Bayad, and you can buy it all. Globe, atin ang mundo. Meralco, ang liwanag ng bukas. SM, we've got it all for you. Smart, live more today. Union Bank, it starts with you.
Infuse yourself with the knowledge needed to hone your business skills. Business Sense, a show where we engage with entrepreneurs, startups, and MSMEs in meaningful discussions on business growth and current marketing trends. Airs every Monday, 10 a.m., only on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now on YouTube. Tune in to Daily Tribune's show aimed at addressing the needs and problems of our OFWs from different corners of the globe. Hear about their plights and success stories every Tuesday and Thursday, 3 p.m., only on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now on YouTube. Straight Talk dives deep into present issues of leadership, politics, business, and more. Engage in insightful conversations with industry shakers, government leaders, and trailblazers every Wednesday at 10 a.m. only here on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now in YouTube.
Yes, we're back, Chito, and we're still with Nate and Albert here of GoTyme Bank. Bakit nga ba time? I mean, Go, I know, because it's
Because of Mr.
Gokong Way. Why time?
My time. We came up with the brand. It stood for Take Your Money Everywhere. But then it was too cheesy, so we just started calling ourselves Time.
All right. All right. So, Chito,
Yeah,
Next
I've
question.
heard that you were saying that the target is 4 times the current number of subscribers or depositors. So that would be 10 million within the year,
No, not
No,
this
no,
year.
not this year.
5 million this year, maybe 10 million in 3
Two-
years.
3 years.
3 years, yeah. So we're already, last month alone we added 270,000. So we're adding more than 1 million every quarter.
Yeah.
We think we'll be running it 1 million every 3 months by the.
Every 3 months.
Every 4 months we're adding 1 million now.
Mm.
We'll probably be adding 1 million every 3
3
months by the
months.
end of the year.
so at the end of the year, it's going to be 5 million.
Yes,
Yeah, probably.
thereabouts.
Probably.
So let me ask, you said that the kiosks are for onboarding,
Yes.
right? And for the releasing of the physical IDs.
Yes.
How many kiosks do you have
So we have
nationwide?
nationwide. We have 450 now.
Yep.
A bit over 470, I think, is the exact number. 400 in retail stores. So the malls and the supermarkets and drug stores and department stores, et cetera, pharmacy. And then 50 are in those offices we were talking about with that, for example, the Accenture partnership and Robinson's Land offices. In the next 4 months, we'll be adding another 100. Most of those in the offices, but another maybe 50 in retail stores, and they're all across the country. Every province, every.
Safe to say we're all over the country now. Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao.
So how about those subscribers of GCash? Are you drawing them in a way? As you said earlier that most of the subscribers that you have a current bank account. How about those from the e-wallet side?
Yeah, of course.
Actually, Chito, it's Pinoy's nature, to
I have a lot
to
of
have
back.
several. Yeah, several. I mean,
that's what
digi-
we see. So actually, the biggest destination for money coming from GoTyme out is to Gcash,
Gcash.
which is, I think, normal banking behavior, right? You maybe use another traditional bank, and then you send small amounts of money to Gcash for transacting. So we see, I would say, almost all of our customers also have Gcash, because most of the country has Gcash. So I
So
think
it complements.
it complements, yeah. I mean, I think customers, see us more as the bank, and then, now though you can scan and pay any QR, including Gcash QRs, with GoTyme. So you can use your GoTyme bank account to pay a Gcash merchant or a PayMaya merchant.
Okay.
So increasingly, we're mimicking the wallet utility as well. But I think there's still ingrained behavior. People are still using Gcash, and it's easy to transfer between the two.
So it's amazing. I mean, the growth of GoTyme has been amazing. You mentioned a while ago that in 16 months' time, you grew to 2.7, depositors. So I'd like to ask, what are the challenges that you had to confront since you started up until now?
You wanna start?
Yeah, sure. So number one, I think while Filipinos are very digitally savvy, the concept of digital banking, I think, is very new to them. And one big advantage that we have, because at the end of the day, banking is a trust game. And one very big advantage that we had that that helped in convincing our fellow Pinoys to move on to this is the go side of GoTyme. You have to admit that the Robinsons Group or the Gokongwei is very well known for democratizing products. Cebu Pacific, the largest airline now, they made it possible for everyone to fly. URC, large snack food corporation, who doesn't know Chippy, who doesn't know Jack and Jill. For a time, there was Sun Cellular. They democratized the telco industry. And I think they're doing the same thing here. People suddenly feel that kind of confidence and comfort. Okay, this is a bank backed by the Gokongweis. So it was, I wouldn't say easy, but it helped that we hurdled that, to your point, challenge. Number one, yung confidence and trust about banking. Second, you have to also admit that our concept is very unique. It's very novel to marry grocery shopping or shopping and opening a bank account. Unheard of until the time did it in South Africa. I think it was a concept that Pinoys gravitated to very quickly. So we've deployed, again, leveraging that ecosystem of the Gokongweis. We were able to get to where traditional banks couldn't. We are an archipelago at the end of the day. For a bank to expand, they need to put up a branch. For GoTyme to expand, what we had to do was tap on where the Gokongwei ecosystem was, where there is a Robinson supermarket, where there is a South Star drugstore, where there is a handyman, where all of these. So again, that helped us overcome that challenge of reach.
So it's the reputation that
Yes.
the
Helped us.
Gokongweis built
Yes.
and
Yes.
established.
But I mean, it wasn't without challenges, right? We had, like any new business,
Yes,
we
yes.
had our growing pains. I remember, because this is a new version of the kiosk from South
Yeah.
Africa. It's an up in there's 99 out of 100 reasons it's new and improved, but there was teething because it was new. So
Is
for
it
example,
still existing in South Africa?
yeah.
So how many depositors does?
we have 8.5 million.
Yeah, more than 8 million now.
That's,
Eight
that's big
million.
enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so we had this thing we called Ghost Touch, where the kiosk would become unresponsive, and it had to do with the static So we had to insert some contraption that took
Ghost
the static
touch.
away. It was just
Why
making-
is it ghost touch?
because you'd try to touch the screen, it wouldn't respond. So
Huh?
you're saying.
Oh, okay. All
So
right.
those little teething things. We had some payments outages,
Yeah.
ATM in the first 2 months. But so I think that is the most stressful part about starting a new bank is your stuff must work every time.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
after a while, everything's settled.
The birth pains, of
The
course.
birth pains are
Yeah.
largely over. I think looking forward, the biggest challenge we have is as we expand into credit products. I know you started asking about that.
Yeah.
Is it the credit, call it infrastructure in the Philippines, is still quite immature. What do I mean by that? There's no national ID that unifies identity, right? And then the knock-on effect to that is that the credit bureaus might have 6 versions of you with 6 different IDs, and we don't know who is who because there's no unifying ID, no biometric. So those things, the credit bureau and the national ID, are something that we see as challenges to scaling lending and providing affordable lending to everyone. The government is working on these things. The national ID is getting there, and the credit bureaus are improving. But I would say that's strategic challenge. The biggest thing is actually credit infrastructure here.
Okay. So we'd go until, hours, talking, very interesting talking about, the 6th digital banking provider. But then, before I ask for your parting words, Albert and Nate, let me ask, customers, we know we have friends, relatives who complain about, the responsiveness of, customer service. Okay, so I have this experience, I was hacked. I lost, money from my bank account, and then of course I had to call the bank, and then it took me an hour before, customer service, pick up the phone,
real
and
person.
so anyway, the scammer was able to, sweep it all. Okay, so how responsive are customer service representatives, on the phone of GoTyme?
One big difference GoTyme prides itself with is while we may be a digital bank by license, we're very human. Earlier, outside of this forum, we were talking about. I was telling people, hey, give us a ring, and I guarantee you, the other end of the line won't be a bot, won't be AI. It's going to be a live person. Lalo na sa Pinoy,
Would
importante
it take like, I would be listening to, 5
No,
songs over and over again?
No.
In fact, our
3 minutes.
IVR isn't deep. Di ba? Press 1 for this, press 2 for this. No, no, it's
Walang
just
ganon.
press 1 lang and then nandun ka na. Get the answer in 3 minutes or less. Even faster if you chat inside our app. When you have your GoTyme account, just go to help, and then I guarantee you, the other person on the end of that chat
It's a real.
is not a bot. It's a live person.
Live person who are knowledgeable.
Yes, live person who are equipped, who
Equipped.
can view a system, who can log your complaint, who can answer your
Concern.
questions.
And that's also in our research before we launched. That was a big pain point
Yes.
customers complained about in focus groups. With the
Right.
existing banks, it's slow to answer.
Yes.
Then maybe you file a dispute because you didn't.
I was
You
listening to a
paid.
long playing.
Yeah. And,
Song.
and they maybe take
Na-memorize
weeks,
mo na.
weeks to
Or
get
you-
back to you. Don't call you.
Or you're
back.
passed on to a lot of agents.
That customer service is a big part about creating that beautiful banking experience
Okay,
you're talking
all
about.
right.
Hindi ka nalalayo. I mean, even before you onboarding pa lang, di ba? Or onboarding pa lang, katabi ng kiosk namin are ambassadors. So these ambassadors are there to help you. They can talk about the bank, they can talk about the product, they can guide you when you're using the kiosk. Kunyari, mali yung paglagay ng ID mo, sinascan. Ma'am, hindi po ganyan. Kailangan ilagay niyo po sa upper left-hand corner. So all of those, very friendly, very human, despite the fact that we
Is
are...
this part of the training?
Yes. Yes, we pride ourselves with that.
Okay. So,
That's a lot
Tito,
of,
you should be convinced now to get a GoTyme. All right. So,
I have to get my
we'd like to
government
talk
ID first.
more about GoTyme, but we have to we have to ask for your parting words. But we
Yeah.
learned a lot. Very interesting.
Mm.
So may I have your parting words, Albert and Nate.
There you go.
Well, number one, I'd like to, first of all, thank you for giving us a chance to do this. We love sharing our story. We love talking about it. At the end of the day, we'd like people to try it out. It is an inclusive bank. Um, you'll find that it's very easy to use. What's this? Simple, beautiful, no fuss, no mess. So do give it a chance. Look for it in the closest Robinsons supermarket, Robinsons Mall, or Robinsons department store. I'm sure one of your friends has it, so ask them about it too.
Or download the app.
Download the app.
Yeah, done.
Yes.
Thank you, Chito.
That's a nice pitch.
How about-
I was gonna do that, but you've already. That's my party now. No, to echo what Abba said, thank you for having us. I think also thank you to all the GoTyme customers out there who've already tried us. But kind of echo what Abba said, I think from all of our customer interviews and talking to all of the Filipinos, it's not often that a bank can make you smile. So I encourage all of you to try us out, download us in the App Store, and really a big thank you for having us on today.
Yes,
That's
and be
everything.
among those be among the more than 2.7 million.
Smiling
Yes.
customers.
So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Nate Clarke, President and CEO of GoTyme, and Albert Tinio,
Albert Tinio.
Co-CEO of GoTyme.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you mga katribu. Tune in again next Wednesday for another episode of Straight Talk. I'm Chito Lozada.
Once again, I'm Gigie Arcilla. Watch Straight Talk Live every Wednesday at 10 a.m. on Daily Tribune's Facebook page and Tribune Now on YouTube.